Hello everyone, and welcome to another deck deep dive. This time featuring the division of the old ones that got changed the most with the last patch, and that is 79th Guards Tank Corps. It got its E80UDs removed, but it got the new amazing T80BV IZD, absolute favorite of mine. It is just such a nice, fast, heavy boy, and we're gonna go over the deck. Today, we're gonna play ranked with it, and I'm gonna show you why I really enjoy this deck at the moment. So let's jump in here into Beasts and Burritos, and start on the logistics tab, where we have a fob. And the reason why we have a fob, you will see in the artillery tab, as you otherwise don't just get enough supplies in this deck. And both to resupply your TADs constantly. Your Urals here will have to run quite a couple of times back to the base and to the front again. And they're pretty good at it, as they at least give you 1000 supply per run. And yeah, Ural's good supply drug. RKM, pretty nice as well. Running on only 2 cuts of Urals, though, always a bit tricky. Infantry, you get some nice Water-Stroke Medis. Get them in the BMP 1 PG, which is a pretty helpful tool as well to deal with infantry. And yeah, the Medis, still pretty good, still pretty helpful. As zoning tool, the Motostrelkies here, together with the Saperi RPOs and Saperis for the faster movement, as they come in the BTR 80, which goes full speed at 1.8 kmh, and can help you get into earlier spots. This is where you want to use the Motostrelky most of the time. And then the Motostrelky BMP with the BMP2, which is a pretty nice little vehicle. The autocannon is helpful, the Conquerors is decent as well, and the 4 frontal armor is really good for 45 point IFV. Yeah, really making the BMP2 a pretty lovely vehicle, and those you need for the fighting. Conquerors, not the best ATGM, but it does its job okay. It has okay accuracy nowadays. Just 20 penetration is okayish though. What you really can struggle with sometimes with this deck is if the enemy goes for a lot of cheaper tanks, and then the Conquerors actually rules. Against the heavier tanks, you should use different tools, but against the light tanks or like a lot of T-72s or so, the Conquerors is helpful there. That's why it is in here with the full teched out infantry tab. Artillery wise, we have Buratinos, we have the D30s, and we have some 20mm. By the way, obviously guys, down below you can find the link to this video, and also if you like it, consider leaving a like and a comment down below about what you like about 79th and this deck in general, and which deck you want to see next in the deep dive. So yeah, the Buratino, really nice, can hit the enemy really hard with its 120mm rockets, dealing a lot of damage there obviously. Like, this is one of the hardest hitting artillery pieces in the game currently. Uragun and M270 are pretty good as well, having more range obviously than the Buratino, but the Buratino hits even harder. It's really expensive, and it eats supplies like there's no tomorrow. It needs more than 1 Ural to really refill. Playing 2 of them, highly unlikely most of the time, but there is not really much that you want to use else in this deck. I'm not a big fan of the Akatsuki and the Gwazdika at the moment. The Grad is sadly completely unusable because supply costs are really bad for its rockets. So yeah, the Buratinos is. The Mortar is helpful for smoke play and for just being annoying, and the D30s can deal some nice damage over long range, can deal with some annoying toe 2 positions also. That's where the D30 comes in, to just help your tanks get through. And the tanks get through quite nicely, as they have these lovely boys nowadays. First of all, T80BV, oh my god, is it gorgeous nowadays. This is just such an amazing model for an RTS game. Really good job here, Eugen. Props to the model makers. And yeah, we have the T80BV IZD here with Agonas and 125mm gun. The speed of the 72 kilometers off-road means that it is the fastest off-road speed for tank, together with AMX-30s, and it can hunt down everything, and that is the great strength. It can run away from any engagement you don't want, and it can hunt down and shoot down anything, and it can, especially together with these hard-hitting ATGMs, for example, zone the enemy. Like, it shoots the missile, the enemy doesn't have smoke anymore, or is not careful enough, it hits them, and then you just run them down. They have to run, and pop smoke and get away if they can, or just get shot down, or just you shoot an ATGM, hit, drive a bit back, shoot it again. And this ATGM, yes, it doesn't do the most amazing damage against really heavily armored vehicles, but it still does damage there. So if you have like 3 or 4 of these TADBVs running around on the battlefield, they're really scary. And they also go well with some normal TADBs as your frontline unit here, which for 185 points nowadays are pretty cost efficient as well. TO55 is a necessity so that you have some cheaper tanks. The flamethrower also really helpful, helping out your infantry, which is pretty nice. TADBVK are together with your RKHMs, your CVs. We don't have any in the infantry tab, so we need them in the tank tab here. So we go up to 6 IFVs here, because 4 would be a bit little. And then 1 more cut of TADBV, which are still pretty fine. But for 15 points more, I believe the BV IZD brings a lot to the table. The speed, especially in 1v1, is super great. Recon, pretty decent as well. Spetsnaz GRU at the moment, it's really strong. The 1 damage per hit, really nice. The ground surveillance radar, pretty fantastic. But Shvedka Saperi, helping you out a bit with infantry fights, can help you winning these early fights. The Motorrad Shvedka, okayish as well, but the RPG-22, not the most amazing thing, and you already have it on the Spetsnaz GRU. So for the early fights, I'd rather use the Saperis here. And then some Me-8s, because they still have 8 hit points, they still have exceptional optics. They're the only recon helicopter that I still actively run quite a bit lately. BRM-1 is an option as well, as it also has exceptional optics and can go well with your tank pushes. But the Me-8 MTA does it as well. AA, you have a lot of good options. Tunguska, sadly at the moment, a bit too expensive. It still needs to go down a bit before it becomes really relevant in my eyes. Coop, at the moment, absolutely fantastic though, as long-range AA. 1 card is enough. E-Glass, obviously solid man pads, good range, good accuracy, decent damage. And then the OSA is here because it's faster than the Strela and the Coop, so it can come out early, like usually. You might even want to upvet the OSAs here, because you're not gonna use them too much at the moment. Outside of early game, I'm not the biggest fan of the OSA. So actually, yeah, let's run them a slightly higher vet. Because late game, the Strela I feel like is just way more cost efficient. It has great anti-helicopter range, and it has decent AA range as well. But it's way cheaper. So yeah, the OSA, good damage per hit though. Can 2-shot even an SU-25 or A-10, which is pretty nice. But the accuracy, the range on aircraft is a bit low for a radar-guided system, which the Strela is not. So yeah, it can be hit by seed, and that is a bit frustrating with this range. So helicopter, decent Me-24 options. I can go even for the I go for 1 of each. It could go for maybe 2 AAs and 1 piece, or 2 piece and the AA. But yeah, a lot of good options here. Cocons and different versions, 30mm cannons. The Me-24 VAA with the Igla that can shoot down recon helicopters that can shoot down. Maybe even if you use them effectively, can maybe even shoot down something like a Cobra. So yeah, pretty helpful there as well. I really enjoyed these kind of hinds as well. And then in the air tab, you have a good amount of options as well. Slots a bit limited here, but with the SU-25 you have a great AT option. Rocket version is also good, like all of these really good ground support. All the 5 SU-25s that you have here as an option. The MiG-23, MiG-31 combo in the sky is nice as well. MiG-31 can zone everything out kind of, and should, in the long term, if you play it right, always win you the air fights, thanks to the longest air-to-air missiles here with the R-37s that hit pretty hard as well. Only issue is that you have an accuracy issue, so chances are that you need all 8 out of both to kill in plane. And then the MiG-23 is solid against helicopters, solid against aircraft, a pretty good all-rounder, because it only costs you 175 points, and it has long-range missiles, it has short-range missiles. But the MiG-27K seed is a solid seed plane that also has a good gun, so 230 points here, pretty fair as well. Does not have air-to-air missiles, then it would be even better, but the seed missiles are pretty good with their range and so on, so I like the Mi-24K here as well. And yeah, this is the 79th, one of my favorite decks at the moment. I really enjoyed the new TADBV IZDs, and yeah, I'm looking forward to see you in the next one when we're gonna bring this out into action. So see you there, guys, and have a nice day. Bye bye. See you next time.